No, it hasn't been enough. I mean, it has been good that they at least funded Europeana, which is the common purpose of all European libraries. But the costs of digitization in a large scale, the one we need, and in the way we need for users' needs, for users' requirements nowadays, goes far beyond that, and it would be needed that if European states really consider that digitization is a pillar for the new society, knowledge society they want to, and knowledge economy they want to be the one for Europe, really we need, it's necessary that they put aside some more funds for this topic.
Is the main problem, isn't it? The money.
The money. It's difficult to answer so generally. There are many libraries that are really doing their best in terms of according a good budget to digitization issues. Some of them maybe not. It depends on the institution, also on their leaders. But in general, my impression is that taking into account the present situation, economic and financial situation around Europe, or in most countries of Europe, they are doing their best. So we should mainly comfort what they are doing and applaud the effort than thinking that they need to be pushed. I mean, they are completely aware that this is a need and that this is not a luxury or a caprice somebody has, and I think they are doing quite well. There is an area where coordination, or a better coordination, will be needed. Is probably the battle for quality digitization. We have, I mean, when it all started, it's a lot, already some years ago, and we all know how quickly technologies advance and develop and change and so on. And at that time, in many libraries, not in this one, but in many libraries, the idea was massive digitization. And then, well, quality was not the first priority. In the case of the National Library of Spain, it is true that we privileged quality, of course, with the techniques that were there at that time, but we privileged this against quantity. Every library has made its own policy out of this, according to their needs, their users, also, you know, the sensibility of government, where governmental leaders more in favor of digitizing all newspapers, well, this is a massive thing, or were they particularly proud of seeing masterpieces of the library being digitized and accessible to everybody. Is this the correct policy? You can also reflect. I mean, one can also reflect out of this. For us, yes. For us librarians, it seems to be our, you know, our. But at the end of the day, is this usable and highly interesting for the common people in the internet? You know, those are issues. So your question, how should we better coordinate? You know, for me, coordination comes together with some budget back. If we want to be better coordinated, the stimuli, it can be economic and financial, and I think this is also very much the issue of the European Commission, I guess. Yes, no, priorities, yes, but as long as this is recommendations, recommendations have the weight they have. I mean, depends on your, yes. So, and from, with regard to Europeana, which is what they are doing, in fact, and this is a very good thing, is standardize the technical standards in all areas: digitization, transcription, translation, and all these things, we need to use the same or compatible, because otherwise the whole work doesn't function at the European level. And the very objective of Europeana is to be compatible and accessible for everybody. So this, yes. For the rest, recommendations in terms of policy, I mean, of promoting first, let's see, masterpieces or massive thing. This will be very difficult to coordinate, well, I happen to know UNESCO quite well, and then I can tell you that they will always keep in the area of recommendations. They will not go further, and they are also involved in this digitization process. You know, they held from very much earlier than Europe started the so-called Memory of the World program. Of course, the objectives are not necessarily the same, but it's digitization, and it is, yes, masterpieces of the whole world. Not in the term of beauty. For UNESCO, this is not the basic interest, but in the term of in terms of having changed history, something that is really key material, a key piece to understand a certain history or international relations between this country and this other, and all this, or for the origins of a country, all these kind of things. And so this is again another policy, but this is a voluntary issue for the states to propose the inclusion of a given piece of their own collections to be included in the program. And then there are committees and things that really apply their criteria and decide if this can or not be included in the list. It's a bit like World Heritage. In fact, it's like a World Heritage, but in documents, for documents, not for monuments or for other. Yeah, this is a very personal opinion. Maybe my colleagues, I don't know what they may have said, but this is the interesting thing, that everybody has its own. For me, where research is absolutely needed, and it is very almost impossible for a single library or institution to reach this data. This could be a very interesting task for competence, center of competence, is to follow very, very closely the behaviors of users. What they really need, and to do what, you know, because we may assume that they need this or don't need that, and be completely wrong. And this is happily enough, I guess that the behaviors, the users' behaviors, are more and more homogeneous through the social networks. People are getting used to work in a given way, and patterns of behavior may be probably quite similar in different parts of Europe. But to study this, it would be to have the results of such a study or observatorium or something like that would be interesting, because this could lead and help a lot the policymakers at the library network or system who are involved in digitization. Otherwise, some of us or some of them may invest money and time in things that in a few months before they are really in exploitation, they are already over.